Deb, we are so glad you're here. Now looking around, I bet you're wondering why in the world I am dressed like this. Well, there's a very simple reason, because it's cold. Now, I was talking with Jeremy and the boys, and I was saying, what do you guys do when it's cold weather? Because we just put on more clothes, and frankly, Jeremy and the boys don't have a whole lot of clothes to put on, so they don't. I said, do you guys go and hibernate? And they said, no, we don't hibernate. I thought, well, all animals hibernate. He said, no, not all animals hibernate. And you know, hibernate means go to sleep for a real long time and just pretend like winter never happened and wake up in the spring. Now, some animals have to battle through the winter. It's so tough. These are animals that deserve respect from all of those who hide away in the comfort of man-made homes. While these guys battle like negative 30-degree nights and freezing rains and blankets of snow and bone-chilling winds that is making me even colder just talking about it, so I'm going to stop. Listen to this. Every year, they enter winter with no guarantee of survival till spring. They build winter homes just as good as they can to keep safe from the terrible winter weather. Let's take a look at a few of these toughest winter animals and the homes they build. Many of these can be seen all throughout the world, and especially right here in America during the winter months. Let's take a look. The first one I want to tell you about is called a white-tailed deer. Oh, there he is, look at him. Yeah, well, you can tell why he's called that because he's got a little white tail. Yeah, during the winter, they usually keep to the forest, and they prefer coniferous stands. Oh, that's a big word. It means like pine trees, yeah, that provide shelter from the really harsh elements. As herbivores, they graze on most of the available plant foods. Their stomachs allow them to digest a mixed diet, including leaves, twigs, fruits, and nuts, and grass, and corn, and alfalfa, and even fungi and stuff that grows on the barks of trees. But in the winter, that kills off the majority of the food that these animals eat, so starvation can happen. In some of these coniferous stands, you can see where deer attempted to strip off the barks of trees and twigs so that they could eat those so they wouldn't go hungry. A lot of deer rely on corn that is thrown out to attract them to our yards. So if you start doing that, don't stop during the winter, or they may get used to it and not know how to take care of themselves because they're dependent on you. Here's another one. Look at that. Yeah. Look at that thing flying. Yeah, that's so cool. That's a great horned owl. Here in North America, where much of the continent is battling ice and snow and bone-chilling cold, it may seem like a bad time of year for a bird to be in a nest. But to the great horned owl, winter is the ideal time to breed and nest and incubate eggs and raise their young. Oh yeah. These tough birds are one of the earliest to go into a nest, and they breed and nest sometime as early as January, despite the really, really cold weather. Like other owls, they don't build their own nest. They just take over an abandoned home of another species, like a squirrel or a raven or a heron, and they especially like nests that are built by red-tailed hawks. Yeah, in the northern winter, owls can store up uneaten prey, and they can come back later to thaw out a frozen carcass by incubating it. Ooh, incubating, that means they sit on it and they won't, never mind. But anyway, it's like they cook their food. How cool is that? Oh, look at that guy, isn't he cute? That's a fox. Yeah, like a cat, the red-tailed fox, thick tail helps it balance, but it has other uses as well. A fox can use his tail as like a warm muffler, like a scarf like this, to keep it warm in cold weather. When it's not hunting, the red fox spends their time curled up underneath a brush pile, under shrubs, or in a heavy thicket. They don't build a nest or a den except when it's really, really cold, when their thick fur coat and warm bushy tail aren't quite enough to keep them comfortable. What they'll do, they'll stand up like your cat does and wrap his tail around his feet to keep it warm. Yeah, and it's really important that if they dig a den, or better yet, take over an abandoned den of a burrowing animal, then they can do that. They use their hearing almost exclusively to hunt in the winter. They listen for the sounds of mice and moles and other things that are moving around in layers of snow. And then they pounce like a cat, and they deliver a piercing blow with their teeth to claim their meal. Recent research has told us that they can even use the Earth's magnetic field to figure out the location of hidden prey under the snow. How cool is that? Oh, check this out, there's another one. That's a coyote. Coyotes are very resourceful, especially in the winter months where they live in the dens, but they seldom dig their own. They look for a suitable space in a rock crevice or a cave or a hollow log, just like our little boys did here, or in other animals' abandoned dens or even thickets. Hey, in cities and urban areas, they may live in an old shed or a large drain pipe. They can run up to 40 miles an hour. It's a little bit faster than me. And they can hunt in the daytime or the night, and they usually hunt alone. In the winter, when there's not a whole lot of food, an entire family can take down an animal. Their main diet in urban areas or in the cities is rodents. Ground squirrels, rabbits, fish, fruit, vegetables, insects, things like that. A thirsty coyote will drink from any source available. It can drink from swimming pools, or sprinklers, or fountains, or a dog water dish, or a bird bath. Yeah, don't put your dog water dish outside because coyotes will hunt anything that's smaller than it. Oh, look at that. That's a bobcat. Yeah, in the winter, bobcats use various types of dens for shelter, lots of them. Each bobcat can have a lot of shelters, one main and several supporting dens in its territory. The main den, usually a cave or a rock shelter or a hollow log like this, or a fallen tree or some other protected place. And then the auxiliary dens, they're going to be places where they don't visit as much in their home range, but they like to go really, really far away. So it's almost like having a summer place, or in this case, a winter place. Yeah, bobcats usually hunt rabbits and hares, but also known to eat rodents or birds or bats, or even a whole deer, which they usually consume during the winter months. Yeah, bobcat habitats vary from forest to brushland, and a habitat dense with vegetation and lots of prey is ideal for them. They're excellent hunters, and they can stalk their prey with stealth and patience and capture their meals with one great leap. Pretty cool, huh? Hey, here's something I'll bet you didn't know. Did you know that most birds fly south for the winter? Yeah, that's called migration. Yeah, they migrate to the south in the winter and then they go back north in the summertime. But one of the few birds to stay behind in the winter is a turkey. They rely on the coniferous forest to keep them sheltered from the colder winter. There's that word again, coniferous. They like to roost in pine trees at night to protect them from hungry other winter predators. Like deer, domesticated turkeys can become reliant on corn that you might throw out in the backyard. So if you start, don't stop. A wild turkey's preferred diet is really scarce in the winter, just like a deer. And you'll often see them in farm fields throughout the winter looking for scraps from the harvest season. What else do they eat? What else do they eat? They eat winter nuts. They eat fruits and grains, anything they can find pretty much to stay satisfied. Okay. Here's a joke for you. If you think it's cold, you oughter stay away from the river. Get it? Otter? That's right. River otters take on winter in the old-fashioned way. They put on a thick coat and they tough it out. They have a 2-layered fur coat and it allows them to stay active throughout the winter. Outer hairs provide repellency from the water, and soft, dense underfur insulates them like a down jacket and keeps them warm in and out of the cold water. They can make their homes close to the water, usually in burrows along the edge of a river or a lake or a wetland. And in winter, they're more active during the daytime and sleep at night, just like us. While they're more nighttime animals in the summertime. Yeah. During the winter day, when the temperatures are the warmest, they'll travel to open bodies of water where they can fish. In other words, they like to swim. Yeah. And when fish aren't readily accessible, they'll dig out hibernating frogs and turtles and other animals that are buried in the mud. While snow and ice may slow us down, neither one of those pose a problem for the river otter. They don't need sleds or skates to slide down snowy hills and across frozen ponds. They can just do it with their feet. Here's one I know you've heard about, a beaver. And we've all heard about beaver dams. Okay, the beaver dams are actually called lodges, and they build these shelters all year round. Beavers start working on building up their lodges in the fall, and they have to be ready by winter to shelter them from hungry predators like wolves and coyotes and foxes and even otters. Lodges are usually shaped like a cone with underwater entrances. So the beavers build from the inside out using things like grass and branches, and then they put sticks all across the top. And most predators find it really, really difficult to break through this complex arrangement of branches and mud so the beaver can stay protected. It's rare to see a beaver out and about during the winter. They spend the majority of the winter inside their lodge. In the fall, before the ponds freeze, the beavers store food like fresh branches in the water around the lodge. And in the winter, a beaver will swim out of the lodge to get the food that's underneath the ice. You can tell if beavers are inside a lodge by looking at the very top of the structure. In the winter, their breath and body heat will rise up, and this melts the snow at the top of the lodge, just like it would for us if we built a fire in a fireplace. Pretty cool, huh?